Siddhis, supernatural, psychic, and magical yogic powers. In the first chapter, we explored the concept of Siddhis through the lens of Hindu traditions, yoga, and Tantra. We delved into texts such as the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, the Bhagavata Purana, the Dattatreya Yoga Shastra, and the Shiva Samhita, which detail the extraordinary abilities attained by yogis through dedicated meditation and yoga practices. In this second chapter, we will expand our exploration to include both Indian and Buddhist traditions, continuing our examination of the miraculous powers, or Siddhis, that arise from deep spiritual practice. In yoga traditions, various Siddhis and psychic abilities are often thought to arise from the purification and expansion of the mind, allowing access to a collective consciousness or universal mind. Practices such as deep meditation, concentration, and pranayama, breath control, are believed to enhance these abilities. For example, a fairly common phenomenon is the ability to control and direct prana, vital life force, within oneself or towards others. The ability to control and direct prana is a significant aspect of many yogic and spiritual traditions. Prana is considered the subtle energy that sustains all life forms, and mastering its flow within the body is a key component in various practices, particularly in yoga, tantra, and certain healing modalities. Pranayama, or breath control, is the primary practice used to regulate prana within the body. It involves various breathing techniques that can energize, calm, or balance the body and mind. Techniques such as Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing, Kapalabhati, skull shining breath, and Bhastrika, bellows breath, are designed to cleanse the nadis, subtle energy channels, and balance the flow of prana. Pranayama allows an individual to control the flow of prana through breathing control, focused thought, and concentration. This practice grants access to various planes beyond the physical, which are represented in our microcosm through the chakras. By controlling specific forms of prana in one or more chakras, the yogi aligns and activates the energies, thereby unlocking incredible powers and abilities associated with these chakrasy planes. This can lead to the development of paranormal abilities, as the various siddhis are closely connected to the forms of prana that the yogi can control. Energy healers often use these powers to channel healing energy to others. Some traditions, such as Reiki and Pranic healing, involve directing prana towards others for therapeutic purposes. Practitioners, often referred to as energy healers, channel universal life force energy and direct it to the recipient's body to balance their energy field and promote healing. It is believed that advanced practitioners who have achieved a high degree of mastery in the control of prana may develop certain siddhis, spiritual powers, including the ability to influence others' thoughts, emotions, or physical states through universal life force energy. This projection can be used for healing, guidance, or other spiritual purposes. In yoga traditions, prana vidya refers to the science and manipulation of energy. It is designed to ensure the proper distribution of prana throughout the body. If there is an excess of prana in one area, it can be balanced. Conversely, if a disease is caused by a lack of prana, prana from a different area can be redirected to the affected part of the body. This process involves converting prana into magnetic energy and then into a flow of psychic energy. Thus, prana can be transmitted beyond the body through the fingers, gaze, or thought. The transmission of prana is a natural process that occurs both consciously and unconsciously. Some individuals emit strong, long-lasting pranic radiations, while others have weaker radiations. Prana is extremely subtle and can only be perceived by the psychic body. Sensitive individuals can feel it, and those who are natural healers often have an innate predominance of the pranamaya kosha. Pranamaya kosha, often referred to as the energy sheath or vital force sheath, is associated with the body's energy systems, including the energy channels, nadis, and centers, chakras. While not everyone is born with healing abilities, many people can develop this potential, particularly through the practice of Prana Vidya. Prana Vidya is an independent science with a direct connection to the practices of Tantra and Kundalini Yoga. The process of raising prana in Prana Vidya is akin to awakening and elevating Kundalini energy, which is often described as a dormant serpent coiled at the base of the spine. To effectively work with prana, yogis clear energy blocks in the nadi channels using techniques such as Shaktipata. In Prana Vidya practice, the channel primarily used for raising prana is the Pingala Nadi. This nadi originates from the Muladhara chakra at the base of the spine, and it curves to the right and left, intersecting all the major chakras. Ultimately, Pingala Nadi ends at the Ajna chakra, where the energy is gathered and prepared for distribution. Distributing prana shakti to a specific area is a complex process. It requires precise knowledge of physiological and yogic pathways from the Ajna chakra to the affected region to ensure accurate and effective energy distribution. Initially, practitioners work on themselves, as performing Prana Vidya for others can be even more challenging. There are other purposes for directing prana shakti in yoga traditions. For example, in yoga traditions, Pranahuti refers to the spiritual transmission or imparting of divine energy by a spiritual master to the practitioner. Pranahuti is specifically associated with the Sahaj Marg system, which emphasizes a gradual heart-centered approach to spiritual growth and integrates this practice into daily meditation routines. Sahaj Marg, also known as the natural path or heartfulness meditation, is a spiritual practice and system of meditation founded by Ramchandra of Shahjahanpur. It is a modern spiritual tradition that emphasizes the development of inner peace, love, and connection to the divine through a heart-centered approach. The concept of transmission, or Pranahuti, involves the transfer of spiritual energy from a teacher to the practitioner to facilitate inner transformation and spiritual growth. This process is a central feature and necessity in this tradition. Through Pranahuti, the master or guide imparts divine energy or spiritual influence, aiding the practitioner in meditation and personal transformation. It is believed that Pranahuti accelerates spiritual progress by helping practitioners overcome inner obstacles, align with higher spiritual principles, and emphasizes the direct personal experience of spiritual states. It is believed that there are three basic constituents of Shakti in the human body: Prana Shakti, life force; Chitta Shakti, mental force; and Atma Shakti, spiritual force. Atma Shakti is the highest form of energy associated with self-realization and spiritual enlightenment. Shakti is the divine feminine energy that represents the creative, dynamic, and transformative aspects of the universe. It is often personified as the goddess or cosmic energy that powers and drives the manifestations of reality. Shakti is the force behind spiritual awakening and transformation. Shaktipata, often referred to as the descent of divine power, is a significant concept in various Hindu and Tantric traditions. It denotes the transmission of spiritual energy or grace from a guru, spiritual teacher, to a disciple, leading to profound spiritual awakening and transformation. The difference between Shaktipata and the previously discussed Pranahuti is subtle. While Pranahuti involves a practical, step-by-step guidance provided by a master, Shaktipata may not necessarily follow a step-by-step approach. It can occur as a one-time or spontaneous phenomenon. The term Shaktipata emphasizes the occurrence of this phenomenon itself. Shaktipata is derived from two Sanskrit words, Shakti, meaning divine energy or power, and Pata, meaning descent or fall. Shaktipata refers to the act of divine energy descending from a higher spiritual source to the seeker, typically through the guru. It is considered a powerful blessing or initiation that accelerates spiritual progress. Shaktipata is believed to occur when a guru, through various means such as touch, gaze, or through the recitation of a mantra, transmits divine energy to the disciple. This transmission can lead to heightened spiritual awareness, the opening of subtle energy channels, and the awakening of inner potentials. The guru plays a central role in the process of Shaktipata. The guru's energy is thought to resonate with the disciple's energy, causing a shift in consciousness. Shaktipata is often a key component of initiation rituals in various tantric and yogic traditions. After receiving Shaktipata, the disciple is encouraged to integrate the divine energy into their daily life through continued spiritual practice, meditation, and devotion. There are many stories and legends from Indian traditions where the transfer of vital life force or Shakti energy are described. Very often, yogis and devotees describe how their first encounter with a teacher led to a profound inner awakening. They shared numerous experiences where a simple look or touch led to life-changing spiritual realizations and healing. Swami Muktananda spoke about the great spiritual power of Swami Nityananda, Paramahansa Yogananda about Sri Yukteswar, Swami Vivekananda about Sri Ramakrishna, and many others shared similar experiences. The Indian sage and yogi Sri Aurobindo, in his conversations with his disciples, spoke about his experience of using yogic powers to influence humanity and epochal global events. He acknowledged that he influenced through people worthy and capable of accepting the divine power, working with energy to achieve goals beneficial to humanity. Sri Aurobindo describes in The Synthesis of Yoga the nature of psychic abilities and supernatural powers. He distinguishes between two types of powers and experiences. The first are the lower, often occult powers associated with the subtle body on the vital and mental planes. Here, both controlled forces, similar to those described above, which are associated with the movement of prana, and more hostile forces, rajasic, which stem from passions and desires, can manifest. The second type includes the higher, divine powers of a spiritual nature from the supramental planes. These powers and experiences belong first to the vital and mental planes above this physical in which we live, and are natural to the soul in the subtle body. As the dependence on the physical body decreases, these abnormal activities become possible, and even manifest themselves without being sought for. They can be acquired and fixed by processes which the science gives, and their use then becomes subject to the will. Or they can be allowed to develop of themselves and used only when they come, or when the divine within moves us to use them, or else, even though thus naturally developing and acting, they may be rejected in a single-minded devotion to the one supreme goal of the yoga. Secondly, there are fuller, greater powers belonging to the supramental planes, which are the very powers of the divine in his spiritual and supramentally ideative being. These cannot be acquired at all securely or integrally by personal effort, but can only come from above, or else can become natural to the man if and when he ascends beyond mind and lives in the spiritual being, power, consciousness, and ideation. They then become not abnormal and laboriously acquired siddhis, but simply the very nature and method of his action if he still continues to be active in the world existence. Swami Vivekananda, a prominent Indian yogi and Vedanta philosopher, comments on and explains the aphorisms of the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, a topic we touched on in the previous video. As we know, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali describe the 8 limbs of yoga, or Ashtanga Yoga, which is also referred to as the Royal Yoga or Raja Yoga. The text emphasizes that by gaining control over the mind, the sadhaka gradually acquires various siddhis. Swami Vivekananda's comments, "The yogi makes samyama on the elements, first on the gross and then on the finer states. This samyama is taken up more by a sect of the Buddhists. They take a lump of clay and make samyama on that, and gradually they begin to see the fine materials of which it is composed. And when they have known all the fine materials in it, they get power over that element. So with all the elements. The yogi can conquer them all. This means that the yogi has attained the 8 powers. He can make himself as minute as a particle, or as huge as a mountain, as heavy as the earth, or as light as the air. He can reach anything he likes. He can rule everything he wants. He can conquer everything he wants, and so on. A lion will sit at his feet like a lamb, and all his desires will be fulfilled at will. The body becomes indestructible. Nothing can injure it, nothing can destroy it until the yogi wishes. Breaking the rod of time, he lives in this universe with his body. In the Vedas, it is written that for that man there is no more disease, death, or pain. When nature has been conquered, and the difference between the Purusha and nature realized that the Purusha is indestructible, pure, and perfect, then come omnipotence and omniscience. When one gives up even the ideas of omnipotence and omniscience, there comes entire rejection of enjoyment, of the temptations from celestial beings. When the yogi has seen all these wonderful powers and rejected them, he reaches the goal. What are all these powers? Simply manifestations. They are no better than dreams. Even omnipotence is a dream. It depends on the mind. So long as there is a mind, it can be understood, but the goal is beyond even the mind. Let us continue exploring classical texts in the yoga tradition by turning to the Gheranda Samhita. The Gheranda Samhita is a classical text on Hatha Yoga, attributed to the sage Gheranda. It is one of the 3 primary texts of Hatha Yoga, along with the Hatha Yoga Pradipika and the Shiva Samhita. The Gheranda Samhita is known for its systematic and detailed exposition of yoga practices, presented in the form of a dialogue between the sage Gheranda and his disciple Chandakapali. The text emphasizes a holistic approach to yoga, integrating physical, mental, and spiritual practices. The yoga taught in the Gheranda Samhita is known as Saptanga Yoga, or the 7 limbs of yoga. As we can see, different systems of yoga may vary in the number of steps and the practices they prescribe. The Gheranda Samhita discusses various siddhis, supernatural powers, that can be attained through the dedicated practice of yoga. These siddhis are considered advanced achievements that result from mastery over the mind and body. The text acknowledges these powers but also implies that they are not the ultimate goal of yoga. In the Gheranda Samhita, the initial focus is on shatkarma, the body's cleansing practices. These practices include neti, nasal cleansing, dauti, cleansing the head and alimentary canal, basti, cleansing the large intestine, nauli, massaging and toning the abdominal muscles and organs, kapalbhati, a type of pranayama, and trataka, a concentration technique. Even at this early stage of purification, practitioners can develop significant abilities, such as eliminating diseases, shielding themselves from aging and death, and attaining a radiant divine body, Deva Deha. In the second stage of yoga, as outlined by sage Gheranda, the focus shifts to asanas, or postures, which are essential for developing physical strength and stability. The goal of these asanas is to eliminate physical discomfort and pain by achieving complete control over the body. According to tradition, Lord Shiva initially taught asanas to his consort, the goddess Parvati. There are said to be 8,400,000 asanas, though not all are known today. Of these, 84 key asanas are still practiced and are believed to bring siddhi, perfection, to practitioners. The text details 32 specific asanas. In the third stage, sage Gheranda explores 25 mudras, which are techniques to control the flow of prana, vital energy, within the body, and can also bestow siddhis upon the practitioner. For instance, the Shakti Kalana mudra grants Vigraha siddhi, the powers of anima, or control over the microcosm. Khechari mudra enables the yogi to overcome thirst, fatigue, illness, old age, and death, leading to the emergence of a radiant divine body, Devadeha, that is impervious to fire, wind, water, and snake bites. However, the primary purpose of all these mudras is to help retain prana within the body and control its flow. In the fifth stage of yoga, sage Gheranda introduces the techniques of pranayama, which elevate the practitioner to a divine level. The pranayama practices outlined in the Gheranda Samhita are performed with the aid of mantras. Chanting these mantras while breathing amplifies their vibrational effects, enhancing concentration and generating pranic energy. Sage Gheranda also refers to his system of yoga as Gatastha Yoga. The term Gatastha Yoga translates to yoga based on the body. Here, Gata means both body and pat, or pitcher. In this context, Gatastha Yoga refers to the yoga that is practiced with an emphasis on the physical body, which is metaphorically compared to a pot or vessel. The body invariably decays, like an unbaked earthen pot placed in the water. Strengthen and purify the body in the fire of yoga. If an unbaked mud pot is filled with water, it will break down and disintegrate, but if the pot is fired and hardened, and then filled with water, it will neither dissolve nor be destroyed. The body of a human being needs to be understood in the same way. This body can only be matured in the fire of yoga. Yogic practices are essential to fully develop the body. Thus, Gatastha Yoga, as described by sage Gheranda in the Gheranda Samhita, can be seen as a practice that cultivates extraordinary strength, resilience, and control over the body and mind. The strength and resilience developed through Gatastha Yoga can be seen as a form of siddhi, as it involves mastery over the physical and subtle bodies. However, this strength is primarily intended to support higher spiritual practices rather than to perform miraculous feats. The focus is on purifying and strengthening the body and mind to create a stable foundation for spiritual growth and self-realization. Siddhis may arise as a result of these practices, but they are secondary to the ultimate goal of achieving liberation and union with the divine. The seventh and final step of Gatastha Yoga, Saptanga Yoga, is Samadhi, the state of complete absorption in meditation. It is the state where the individual self merges with the absolute reality, leading to a realization of the true nature of the self and the universe. This stage is synonymous with ultimate liberation or moksha. This journey through the 7 steps of Saptanga Yoga is designed to lead the practitioner from the grossest aspects of existence, the physical body, transcending all lower influences, from physical forces and the supernatural forces of the subtle planes, to a state of union with absolute reality. In Buddhism, the concept of Iddhi, often translated as supernormal powers or psychic abilities, is mentioned in various texts, particularly in the Pali Canon, which is the earliest and most authoritative collection of Buddhist scriptures in the Theravada tradition. These powers are considered byproducts of advanced meditative practices and are not the ultimate goal of the Buddhist path, just as siddhi is not the ultimate goal of the yoga path. Buddhism places greater emphasis on insight, wisdom, prajna, and the cessation of suffering leading to nirvana. The attainment of Iddhis is considered a result of deep concentration and mindfulness cultivated through rigorous meditation. As practitioners deepen their concentration and mindfulness, they may experience heightened mental and sensory abilities, laying the foundation for the emergence of Iddhis. These abilities include, but are not limited to, flying through the air, transformation of elements, walking through solid obstructions, diving into the ground, and walking on water. Majjhima Nikaya, middle-length discourses, is an important text in the Theravada Buddhist tradition. It is a collection of 152 suttas, discourses, that are generally of middle length and cover a wide range of teachings and instructions on the path to enlightenment. The Maha-Saccaka Sutta, MN 36, is one of the discourses found in the Majjhima Nikaya. In this sutta, the Buddha recounts his journey to enlightenment, including his experiences with extreme ascetic practices and his realization of the middle way. The sutta does include mention of Iddhis, which are psychic or supernatural abilities that the Buddha developed as a result of his deep meditation and mastery over the jhanas, meditative absorptions. One of the Iddhis mentioned is the Buddha's ability to recollect his past lives, which he achieved during his final meditation before enlightenment. When the mind was concentrated, purified, bright, unblemished, rid of defilement, pliant, malleable, steady, and attained to imperturbability, I directed it to the knowledge of recollecting my past lives. I recollected my manifold past lives, 1 birth, 2, 5, 10, 50, 100, 1,000, 100,000, many eons of cosmic contraction, many eons of cosmic expansion, many eons of cosmic contraction and expansion. The Buddha also mentions developing the divine eye, which allowed him to see the passing away and rebirth of beings according to their karma. I saw, by means of the divine eye, purified and surpassing the human, beings passing away and reappearing. And I discerned how they are inferior and superior, beautiful and ugly, fortunate and unfortunate in accordance with their karma. The sutta emphasizes that while Iddhis are possible outcomes of meditation, the true goal of the Buddha's path is enlightenment, not the pursuit of supernatural powers. Texts describing supernatural powers, Iddhis, can be found in various parts of the Pali Canon, as well as in some later Buddhist literature. The Kevatta Sutta, DN 11, from the Digha Nikaya, Long Discourses, is a significant text that addresses the topic of supernatural powers, Iddhis, and the Buddha's perspective on their use and significance. The Kevatta Sutta is a discourse delivered by the Buddha in response to a request by a householder named Kevatta, who asked the Buddha to perform miracles to inspire faith in the people of Nalanda. The Buddha uses this opportunity to discuss the nature of miracles and supernatural powers, ultimately emphasizing the superiority of spiritual insight over displays of miraculous abilities. The sutta outlines different categories of supernatural powers that a fully enlightened being like the Buddha might possess. In the Kevatta Sutta, the Buddha outlines 3 types of demonstrations: the demonstration of psychic power, the demonstration of revealing, but he emphasizes that the demonstration of instruction is the only one that truly benefits others by leading them toward enlightenment. The demonstration of psychic power, Iddhi-Vidha. These are the classic supernatural abilities that are often associated with highly advanced yogis and enlightened beings. They include multiplying themselves and then becoming one again, appearing and disappearing at will, the power to make oneself invisible to others, passing through solid objects, the ability to pass through walls, mountains, or any solid matter as if they were not there, diving in and out of the earth as though it were water, walking on water as though it were solid ground, flying cross-legged through the sky, the power to defy gravity and fly through the air, moving as effortlessly as a bird, touching and stroking with the hand the sun and moon, so mighty and powerful, traveling to the Brahma world, the capacity to travel instantaneously to the Brahma world or other celestial realms, the demonstration of revealing, Ādesanā-Pāṭihāriya. This is the ability to read the thoughts of others. It includes understanding the mental states, thoughts, intentions, and emotions of other beings. The practitioner can know whether someone's mind is full of lust, anger, or delusion, or if their mind is free from these afflictions. The demonstration of instruction, Anusāsanī-Pāṭihāriya. This is the ability to teach and instruct others in the Dhamma, leading them to understand the truth, abandon unwholesome states, and make progress on the path to enlightenment. This form of demonstration is the only one the Buddha endorses, as it results in genuine spiritual growth and liberation. While the other two demonstrations involve impressive displays of supernatural powers, the Buddha views them as less important than the ability to guide beings on the path to liberation. Buddhist teachings describe 7 groups, also known as the wings to awakening, encompass 37 factors that are essential on the path to enlightenment. They are 4 mindfulnesses, Sattara Satipatthana, 4 right efforts, Sattara Samapadhana, 4 bases of power, Sattara Iddhipada, 5 spiritual faculties, Pancha Indriya, 5 powers, Pancha Bala, 7 factors of enlightenment, Sapta Bojjhanga, the Noble Eightfold Path, Arya Atangika Magga. The Iddhipada-vibhanga Sutta, also known as the Discourse on the Analysis of the Bases of Power, specifically focuses on the 4 bases of power, Sattara Iddhipada, desire or will to act, Chanda, effort, Viriya, mind, Chitta, investigation, Vimamsa. Together, these 4 bases of power work in harmony to support the development of spiritual powers, concentration, and ultimately enlightenment. Chanda Iddhipada. Chanda means zeal, desire, or intention. Chanda Iddhipada serves as the initial spark of intention that drives the entire process forward. However, this desire is not the same as ordinary craving or attachment. Chanda Iddhipada involves setting a clear and determined intention to pursue a specific spiritual goal, such as mastering meditation or developing mindfulness. This intention is cultivated with a deep sense of purpose and commitment. Viriya Iddhipada, the base of power generated by effort or energy. This involves the diligent and sustained effort put forth in meditation and spiritual practice to develop supernormal abilities. Citta Iddhipada, the base of power generated by mental factors. This includes factors such as concentration, mindfulness, and wisdom, which play crucial roles in the development of supernormal powers. Vimamsa Iddhipada, the base of power generated by investigation or analysis. This refers to the careful examination and discernment of the meditative experiences and insights gained during the practice, leading to the refinement and deepening of supernormal abilities. These 4 bases of psychic power serve as the foundation for the cultivation of Iddhi, and are essential components of the meditative path leading to liberation. In the Iddhipada-vibhanga Sutta, the Buddha describes 8 main psychic powers, Iddhis, that one can achieve through the successful cultivation of the 4 bases of power, Iddhipada. We have also mentioned these powers in the Kevatta Sutta: multiplication, becoming many from one; apparition and disappearance, passing through solid objects, walls, mountains; diving into and out of the earth; walking on water as if it were solid ground; flying through the sky; touching the sun and moon; traveling to the Brahma world. Another set of extraordinary powers or higher forms of knowledge in the Buddhist tradition are the 6 super knowledges, Abhijna or Chalabhijna, described in various texts including the Samanaphala Sutta and the Anguttara Nikaya. These super knowledges are considered advanced stages of insight that arise from deep concentration and the development of mental powers, offering the practitioner profound insights and abilities beyond ordinary human capacities. Psychic power, Iddhi-Vidha. The ability to perform various supernormal feats, such as levitation, telekinesis, and materialization. Divine ear, Dibasota. The ability to hear sounds from distant realms and dimensions, including divine sounds and celestial conversations. Divine eye, Dibbachaku. The ability to see beings and phenomena in other realms, such as heavenly beings, celestial realms, and past lives. Knowledge of the thoughts of others, Katopariya Jnana. The ability to read the minds of others, discerning their thoughts, intentions, and mental states. Recollection of past lives, Pabanivasanusati Jnana. The ability to remember one's past lives and the experiences and actions undertaken in those lives, gaining insights into the workings of karma and rebirth. Divine insight, Asavakaya Jnana. The ability to eliminate the defilements, asavas, of greed, hatred, and delusion, leading to liberation, Nibbana, from suffering and the cycle of birth and death, samsara. These 6 supernormal powers are considered extraordinary attainments that arise from the cultivation of deep concentration, insight, and wisdom through meditation and spiritual practice. According to Buddhist texts, during his enlightenment under the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, the Buddha achieved the last 3 of the 6 mental powers. In the first watch of the night, he recalled his past lives. In the second watch, he developed the mental ability to see the death and rebirth of other beings. In the third watch, he witnessed the destruction of passions or taints. Of the 6 Abhijna, the first 5 are mundane and do not signify liberation. The Buddha cautioned against pursuing the first 5 supernormal powers, as they can distract practitioners from the ultimate goal of enlightenment. The 6th type, Asavakaya Jnana, is considered the ultimate goal of Buddhist practice. It signifies the end of all suffering and the destruction of all ignorance, leading to liberation from the cycle of rebirths. According to the Buddha, indulgence in the Abhijnas should be avoided, as they can distract from the ultimate goal of enlightenment. Buddhism underscores the importance of ethical conduct in the pursuit of Iddhis. Practitioners are urged to cultivate virtues such as compassion, loving kindness, and mindfulness as a foundation for their meditative endeavors. The ultimate aim of Buddhist practice remains the cultivation of wisdom, insight, and the liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Miraculous supernatural powers and abilities reflect the latent potential within the human spirit, explored in various mystical and metaphysical contexts. However, it is crucial to recognize that these extraordinary powers, often viewed as byproducts of advanced spiritual practices rather than the ultimate goal, are but signposts along the path to a deeper understanding of existence. True enlightenment lies not in the attainment of supernatural abilities, but in profound inner transformation and spiritual awakening.